Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the training talk, another video on how to install Windows 10 in the VMware. So in this video lecture, we would be learning how to install Windows 10 in VMware. So the requirements for installing a Windows 10 machine on VMware are very simple. You must have a VMware 15 or 16, right? It depends what version you want to use, but they are pretty similar. So either you can have VMware 15 or 16 on your laptop or desktop. And we will be using this virtual atmosphere to install Windows 10. Now you need to have the Windows 10 ISO, which is downloadable from Microsoft website, right? You can download an ISO from there. Or I actually use one of the websites which is having a lot of ISOs and is very reliable is tactics.com. So itactics.com also you can use for downloading a Windows 10 ISO, whatever works for you. All right. So you need to have these two pieces of software. One should be the VMware already installed, where you would install the Windows 10 operating system. All right, so now I'm going to start my VMware and we shall move into how to install Windows 10 on the VMware. So I started my VMware Workstation Pro. As you can see, and this gives me a message which usually shows up when you start VMware, which is like for the updates to the next version, which is 16.2.5. But right now I'm skipping this. I am happy with my Workstation 16 Pro, which is actually a good one. So you can do a later version update, if you want, but I'm not doing it at the moment. So to install a virtual machine, you can start here from create a new virtual machine option, or you can go to file and you can go to new virtual machine. So anyways, I'm going to start here. And there are two ways of configurations that you can go with. One is typical, which is recommended. Another is custom, which is advanced. So I use a custom one because here I can make certain changes. And typical is going to give me some preset settings, which you would have to change later. So let's start with custom so that we can set up our own configuration settings. Go next, and here it is showing us the hardware, which is compatibility hardware workstation 16.2, all good. Go next. So here I can do one thing. I can go to install a disk image and browse my system to see where I have the Windows 10 ISO. So my Windows 10 ISO is in my backup drive. I have all these ISOs of Windows, as you can see, right? So I'm going to start that. So I opened it and I have all of these Windows 10, Windows 11, Windows 7, and so on. So I'm taking Windows 10, 64-bit edition. So it says Windows 10 is detected. So now I'll go next. So if you don't have a product key, you don't have to worry at the moment, because for VMware, if you're doing just some labs or just learning, you don't need a Windows product key. If you have, you can, can type one if you have a product key, but you can leave it and you can put it later as well. So versions of the Windows to install is Windows 10 Education, Windows Pro, Windows Home Single Language. Pro is the one which actually gives us way too many features than Windows Education and Home, which is basic edition. So I'll go for 10 Pro. And here I can change the name of the user to admin, and password is optional. So if I leave the password, I'm not going to make the password, just say yes and then click next. So for the firmware type, you can use a UEFI or BIOS. I'm using BIOS to keep things simple. And you can use UEFI, but it really doesn't matter. So one processor and 2 cores. Go next. And then memory for this virtual machine is 2048, which is 2 gigabytes, but I would use 4. So I'm taking this slider and keeping it at 4 GB. So that gives me 4 gigabytes RAM, which is a good memory for the capacity of the RAM. 4 GB is good enough for Windows operating system to run without being slow. Network type, I'm not going to change anything here. This is recommended. We are not going to change this as well. And here I'm changing it to SATA, the hard disk, right? So SATA is the serial attachment hard disk type, which is a normal kind of interface. You can also go for SCSI. IDE is an older, interface. So an NVMe is the non-volatile memory, which is recommended, but it's not sometimes available in your systems if your system is not a very new system, because NVMe is a very new concept. So SATA is safe to play with because SATA is an interface which is found in every system, whether it is an older system or a new system. So I'll go for SATA, go for next. And here I'm creating a new virtual disk so that my operating system can be installed on that, which is good. Go next. So it's asking me for 60 GB to be the recommended size. I'll not touch this. I will not increase or decrease this capacity. I'll let it remain 60 gigabytes. And I'll split my virtual disk into multiple files because that way my disk space is better utilized. Go next. So here is the Windows 10 2.vmdk. So .vmdk stands for virtual machine disk, which is good. We won't change anything, just say next. These are the configurations that we have, configured, set up. And that says it's a 60 GB hard disk split, 4096 MB, which is actually 4 gigabytes, network adapter NAT, and 2 CPU cores, CD, DVD, USB controller, printer, sound card, everything is present. We can, if you want to change any of the hardware settings, you can customize and you can change it here, right? But at the moment, I don't want to. So I'm just going to close it and say finish. All right, so now the system is creating a virtual disk. And it won't take a lot of time. It also depends on your host operating system and host laptop, how fast it is. So it's pretty good. So I have it now and it's install. It starts itself. So you can see my machine actually is trying to boot in Windows 10. And that's the operating system we are installing. All right. So we are on this typical Windows setup screen. And at the bottom, you see a yellow tab saying easy install is installing. You can close it if you want. And now you shall wait till the setup boots up and comes to the next screen. All right. So here we have Windows 10 Windows setup, installing Windows. You can see it has started copying the Windows file, which is done pretty quick, and now it is getting the installation. So this will take a bit of time from the 0% till it comes to 100%. You'll have to wait. Okay, so the files are already installed, and after the updates and the finishing up stage, our Windows operating system will restart itself. This is what it is doing, restarting. And now the system is booting up in Windows 10 after the restart. So you must have seen that it really didn't take a lot of time on my laptop, which is the host machine, because my laptop has 32 GB RAM, and it has 1 TB hard disk, which is NVMe. So it's pretty fast when it comes to, and it is an i7 processor again, which is very speedy. So the installation really doesn't take a lot of time. But when you would be doing and you are thinking that it's a little bit slow, it's just because of your host system and the configuration of your host system. If you're using a old laptop or old workstation, which is not too, i3 or something like 8 GB RAM, you might feel that the installation takes a bit longer. Okay, so it's already routing into admin, the user account that we created. And this is the welcome window, and it is setting up a few things. The operating system is doing it, setting up some apps, network, etc. We'll have to wait a bit till this finishes. And I really like this multicolor or changing colors, when this app settings is happening on the windows. Yeah, so taking care of a few things. And it's restarting itself. And that would be, I think, the last restart, and our Windows operating system is already good to go. All right, so there is no password. So I can just click on this proceed button, this little arrow, and it brings me to the welcome screen. And here we are. So our operating system Windows 10 is installed, guys. So if you see there at the bottom, it says that not connected, which means no internet right now. So in VMware machines, usually this needs to be fixed. So let's do that. So I'm going to go to VM settings, and I'm going to click on network adapter, which is saying NAT. So I click on customs and I choose VM NAT 0 NAT. You can see this list. So these are virtual machine networks. You have a lot of them. If you see the numbers, there are 19 or 20 of them. But you have to take the one in which you see NAT. NAT means network address translation. This will give you a public IP address to connect to internet. So we are going to choose this one. Click OK. And now go on this network icon on the taskbar, open network and sharing center. And even before I could do anything, you can see the access is now public network and internet. In case if it doesn't happen, you can go to change adapter settings, right click, disable, and enable once. Usually this fixes the problem. And now if I go right click, check on status, details, I can see I have an IP address, which is 192.168.187.188, which is actually my network connection is all good. I got it from the DSCP. And if I want to check whether I'm connected to internet or not, you can simply open Microsoft Edge and you can type any website and check if it's connecting or not. And here you are, it is connecting, so you are good. And your network connectivity is also working. So let me close off. There you go. So our internet is connected. All right. So that's about your Windows 10 operating system along with the network connection and everything. Now here it is saying there's a OneDrive update. If you don't want it, you just close it. And your Windows 10 operating system is already installed on your VMware 16, guys. So you can right click, try to personalize. So usually since you don't have a Windows key, it doesn't allow you to activate or personalize. Leave that. And from the start button, you can see all your applications, whatever applications are installed are available. All right, so now to shut down, you can right click on this tab, go to power and shut down the guest machine. All right, so properly shut down your Windows 10. And that's about everything for installing Windows 10 in VMware. Thank you for watching.